Hello everybody, what's going on? Grant Vogel here with essentially like a review or an assessment, I guess you could say, of the DLC ability. Thank you to the person who corrected me. I've been calling these things boosters the entire time. They're not even called boosters. Actually, they're called survival skills in the class setup. I never noticed that, but I'm going to call them abilities just because calling them survival skills is a little bit annoying. So anyway, this is going to be a review or an assessment of the Lucky Break ability that came in the DLC. What Lucky Break does is essentially it gives you extra stuff when you go to supply boxes. To be exact, it promises to always give you a minimum of 3 crafting ingredients. This is level 3 Lucky Break we're talking about. 25% boost in large firearm ammo, so in this case that would be my variable rifle ammo, and a 50% boost in handgun ammo. So what you see at the top right of the screen is essentially just going to be a tally of the bullets that I'm getting thanks to that booster. Or, there I am falling into old habits again. Thanks to that ability. So at the end of the video, we're going to have a tally of the number of bullets and ingredients for crafting that I would not have gotten had I not had Lucky Break equipped. And I think this is the best way to assess the booster, because sometimes the perceived effectiveness of an ability is actually much less than the actual effectiveness and the actual impact it has on your playstyle, or sometimes it's greater. But just really quickly to explain my class setup and what I was going for with this class is basically, obviously I have the revolver and the variable rifle equipped, unsilenced variable rifle. And I also have Crafter 3 equipped and Lucky Break 3, and that's it. And obviously the reason I chose Crafter 3 is because, you know, we've already equipped a booster that's 5 loadout points. Lucky Break 3 is 5 loadout points. And it's based all around crafting, basically. I mean, a little bit of ammo as well, extra ammo, but essentially it promises to always give you at least 3 crafting ingredients. So essentially the only reason why you would, one of the main reasons why you would equip that ability is so that you could craft more items. And if you're going to be crafting a lot of items anyway, you might as well get an extra 100 parts for every 2 items that you craft. You know, they seem to kind of go hand in hand there. So this is the first time in the match that I had actually gotten anything bonus from a supply box, and we're actually 4 minutes into the match here. I skipped a minute and a half into the match when I started. As you probably noticed, I started in kind of a weird spot there, but it was just because nothing had happened up until that point. Literally, it was just me and my teammates running around the map. The enemy had 19 spawns, as you might have noticed, only because someone joined late and took up a spawn. There was literally nothing going on until that point in the match. So I skipped a minute and a half in, just, you know, to save you guys some time. There's nothing to talk about anyway. Let's talk about the variable rifle. Just also really quick, as you noticed, I got 2 extra bullets really quick from that supply box. And by the way, it is a little bit difficult to exactly calculate how much ammo I'm getting from each supply drop or whatever. Only because it seems like sometimes it rounds up and it seems like sometimes it rounds down. So for example, if I picked up 7 revolver bullets from a supply box, the perk says that you get a 50% bonus. So what you have to do then is calculate like 50% of 5 bullets is 50% of 5 is 2.5, but you're not going to pick up an extra 2.5 bullets. So it either rounds up or it rounds down, and it seems like sometimes it rounds up and sometimes it rounds down. It's very difficult to tell exactly, but the tally at the end of the video should be within a bullet or 2. I don't think it'll be off by much at all. It'll still give you a very, very accurate idea of how helpful the ability is. But anyway, let's talk about the variable rifle, because this is a gun I stopped using it for quite some time. Like, essentially, the gun came out in the DLC, you know, however many months ago. I don't even remember at this point when that came out. Maybe around September or October or something like that. I can't remember. But anyway, it came out. I used it for the review just to kind of see what it was like. And then I just kind of stopped using it because it wasn't one of my favorite guns in the game. I typically, for my secondary weapon, like to go with like the hunting rifle or the semi-auto, or very often I don't go with any large firearm. I just prefer to go with the revolver a lot of the time. But I decided to go with it again just to try it out and see if I was missing anything. I've seen a few people, in the Last Fan Standing video series using it. And, especially one guy, I was very impressed at how fast he was firing it and how effective he was with it. He was like, I think he had more than 20 downs in the clip that I was watching in a supply raid match. And as you know, there's only like, you start with 20 spawns in a match, so that's pretty impressive. And so I've been reevaluating it just for myself, kind of, and I do like it. On certain maps, this can be a really versatile weapon. It really does fire like surprisingly fast for the type of gun that it is, and it just gives you a really wide range of combat range. I don't know how to describe it, but you know what I'm saying. You can attack people and you can do well from a number of different ranges. You can kind of pick people off from a long distance, kind of slowly but surely, because it takes 4 shots to down someone. So it's not exactly the most effective at long range, but you can still kind of like support your team and weaken them and kind of fend them off that way. And even at closer ranges, not super close range obviously, but closer ranges, it still works pretty well, as you can see right there. So yeah, I might start using this gun much more often. We'll see. But I definitely really liked it for this match, and I felt like it was a good supplement to the class setup that I already had going, where I don't know, it just worked well on this map and this match. And what I think is interesting about this match in general is, it's not one of my best matches ever. It's not like I go like 16-0, 16 downs and 0 deaths or something like that. Not to say that I don't do well. I do pretty well. It's a pretty good match. But it's a really, interesting match because we're neck to neck with the other team the entire time. At first it felt like we were doing really well. It felt like we weren't dying, we were sticking together and stuff. But then I looked at the spawns and we were, behind a few spawns or something. It was just really shocking because I didn't realize how much my teammates were dying. And throughout the entire match, we're just neck and neck. I mean, even right now, there's only a difference of 1 spawn. And that's also a good measure of how the Lucky Break ability helps out, because essentially, if you don't know already, the game gives you supplies from supply boxes based on how your team is doing. If you're winning, you're going to get less supplies. If you're losing, you're going to get way more supplies. And since we're neck and neck, it's not going to be giving you tons of supplies, but it's not going to give you, very few. So you can kind of see how helpful it is when you're just sort of neck and neck with the enemy, which is probably how most matches are going to be. Most of the time you're not going to be crushing the opponents, and most of the time you're not going to be losing a ton. So this is kind of an accurate look at how this booster would help your average match. And right now we're at 2 craftable ingredients, 5 revolver bullets, and 6 variable rifle bullets. So technically, that's enough for about 3 extra kills that I couldn't have gotten, if assuming each of those bullets were put to good use and landed on the enemy I was shooting them at. And 3, crafting ingredients, I would estimate that would be, maybe 1 or 2 extra craftables that I otherwise wouldn't have been able to craft. And realistically, with the bullets, I'm assuming probably only 2 extra kills with that, realistically, that I could have gotten, taking into account missed shots and things of that sort. Man, I'm surprised those 2 bombs right there didn't down that guy. He must have had armor on or something, but thankfully I got him. Thankfully, maybe I was able to craft that modded 2x4 with Lucky Break. Who knows? Probably, yeah, shouldn't have gone for that special execution there. That was definitely a mistake, but, it's sad. I was going flawless, but I got tempted to do a special execution there. I just, I don't know. Sometimes you make mistakes like that. Sometimes you get tempted into those special executions. So really quick, while I'm on the respawn screen anyway, I've begun working on the cinematic Last of Us playthrough. What I've decided is that I'm going to aim to do the entire game, a playthrough of the entire game. Essentially, I'll be cutting out small parts here and there that I feel aren't necessary for the viewing experience of the game, so like certain puzzles, like environmental puzzles or just scavenging the environment. Or perhaps if there's long sections where it's just combat scenario after combat scenario, like in Pittsburgh, you know, that's a very long section of the game. And essentially it's a lot of repetition. It's a lot of fighting hunters and just scavenging and stuff like that. And to sort of skip through certain sections like that, or to skim over them, I might create like sort of a montage or something like that to sort of just, you know, to skim over it so that it doesn't get neglected, so that you kind of see what they're going through, but at the same time it's not taking up like 30 or 40 minutes of the playthrough, which it would. So I don't know exactly how I'm going to handle everything yet. I'm figuring it out as I go, kind of. But I've done roughly the first 15-20 minutes of the game so far, and I really like the way it's turning out. I've definitely taken into account a lot of your guys' advice about music and camera angles and the panning of the camera. A lot of you found it a little too nauseating how often the camera would just spin around them. I've taken that into account. I've fixed that. Essentially what I've done to fix that is, instead of panning every time I want to change the camera angle, what I do is I play through scenes multiple times and I collect multiple camera angles, and then I cut between them so that the camera isn't always in a constant state of spinning and transition, if that makes sense. So I really like the way it's turning out so far. Like I said, I only have about 20 minutes done, and it's probably going to be, God, like a 7 or 8 hour series, probably total, when it's all said and done. So I've still got a lot of work to do, but I've still got some time to do it on winter break, and even past that, I'll try to work on it whenever I can. My hope is to have it all done and up on YouTube maybe by June. You know, I'm gonna release it episodically in episodes of maybe 30 or 40-minute chunks. We'll see. It'll probably vary per episode, but hopefully when it's all said and done, you know, maybe I can upload 1 or 2 episodes a month or something like that. I'm gonna see. We're gonna figure it out, but it's coming together well, and I just thank you guys for all your feedback and support. So we're nearing the end of the video here. Ultimately, my opinion of the Lucky Break ability is not the most effective ability in the game. It actually might be better served in Survivor's mode. It feels like more often in Survivor's mode, you get less craftable items. You'll go to a supply box and only get like 1 blade or you know, things like that. You know, I feel like there's a much more emphasis, much more need for craftables in Survivor mode. So I would recommend to try it in Survivor mode as opposed to Supply Raid. In Supply Raid, I wouldn't say that's worth it. It's 5 loadout points for this ability, and I feel like that would be put to much better use. Honestly, I would rather use that on Scavenger 2, which is only 4 loadout points, or even Scavenger 3, which gives you an extra craftable and twice as much ammo, and you pick up the ammo automatically. I feel like that's much more worth it, certainly in Supply Raid. Maybe not so much in Survivor mode, but that's just my opinion. Let me know what you guys think. I'm sure there's other ways of using this ability that I haven't thought of. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to be bringing you more reviews of the DLC boosters like Lone Wolf and Jack of All Trades. And I might even do like a damage marker and awareness review. I remember I actually did one of those way back long ago, and I totally forgot to upload it, or I didn't upload it for some other reason. Anyway, I'm going to try to do that again. We'll see. If there's any other videos you guys want to see from me, I am certainly open to suggestions. So thank you everybody for watching. I will talk to you all in the comments.